Hi, my name is Ben Lyons, and this is a presentation on my human resource management interview. So I had the opportunity to interview Elliot Meyer. He's the general manager for Bon Appetit Management Company on the count here at Northwestern. He's been at Bon Appetit for over 20 years. He's worked in roles such as executive chef, operations manager, and now GM. He's been in his current role as GM since 2011. He handles much of the HR for the account here at Northwestern, as they don't have a defined HR manager, rather he takes most of the responsibility. I have a personal connection to Elliot, as I am currently doing my internship through Bon Appetit, and he is my direct supervisor. So it was a cool opportunity to kind of pick his brain about some of the things that I'm involved in on a daily basis. So I started off kind of trying to determine what his overall philosophy on HR was. He summed it up well at one point with the quote, "Organizations are run, people are led." I think this speaks volumes about how human resource management should be approached. He thinks of every single employee with respect and dignity. He said that every person is an image bearer of Christ and therefore deserves our utmost respect. This is a great philosophy to live by as you're dealing with employees. In every circumstance that arises revolving around HR, he wants to look at the person first and the fact that they are a resource of the company second. He does still have to see them as a resource, but he understands that first they are image bearers of Christ. So Bon Appetit is a large company with a corporate office, and this affects a lot of their HR policy. Corporate has a big impact on HR, and it really determines their handbook and how they are to deal with many different types of situations. Elliot talks about this a lot, and he said he made a distinction between polarity management and binary management. So polarity management is kind of the idea that there's a right and wrong answer in every situation. Binary involves a lot more discretion. There's more of a gray area, more room to work, which is something that Elliot really appreciated. So corporate is really a big fan of polarity management. They want things to be cut and dry. Elliot wants to look at each situation, each employee, and find the best outcome for both the company and the employee. So this can cause a little tension between corporate and Elliot. He also made a really good point that there's a big difference between problems that can be solved and tensions that can be managed. He said that every corporation, if you have multiple employees, there's going to be tensions. Maybe an employee doesn't like another employee, there's power struggles, there's different types of tensions that just are part of business. That being said, those need to be managed while problems need to be solved. If an employee gets to a point where he or she is causing disruption, harassing other employments, that becomes a problem that needs to be solved. So it's important to remember the distinction between a problem and a tension. So next, I really wanted to pick his brain about the industry that I will be going into, which is the food service industry, which is what Elliot has been working in his whole life. So in the food industry, quality employees are hard to come by. It's a low-paying industry that's hard hours, long weekends, holidays, just a lot of things that don't make it attractive for employees. Low pay. So that being said, when you do find a good employee, retention is key. It's really big. So the number one way he talks about creating a good reputation for retention is the culture of the company. He wants employees to be excited to come to work. He wants to care about his employees. He wants to promote a loving atmosphere. He wants to have fun with his employees. He talked about that quite a bit. And these are all things that really make for a good culture. He also provides a lot of employee evaluation. Twice a year, he sits down with each and every employee and gives them both positive things and things that they can work on. And he also talked about how positive feedback is something that is just part of his daily routine. If he sees something done well, he'll say something. I think that's a really good point to take, and I know the employees at Bon Appetit really appreciate that about him as a manager. Also, the company as a whole does well accommodating scheduling. Day off requests are almost always something that they can get done, as well as emergencies, family emergencies, anything like that. They're really understanding and work with employees, which employees again appreciate, and it really helps them to retain employees. Finally, they offer really good benefits. So every single employee that is full-time gets health insurance, paid days off, et cetera, et cetera. And that's just something that, on top of the base pay, is an attractive quality that really aids in retention. So what did I get out of this interview? This was a great opportunity for my future as I look forward in the food service industry. He's kind of in the job that I would love to have one day, so it's always cool to pick his brain and figure out some of the things that he does and the things that he managed with human resource management. The biggest thing that he talked about, and the biggest thing I took away, was caring for employees. So loving them, seeing them as employees and not resources, and just doing what's best for them as well as the company is just really something that I took away. As well as the importance of retention in the industry. That's a huge thing, as like he said, good employees aren't easy to come by, and keeping them and not having to train new ones is something that is really important in any business, but especially in the food service industry. Finally, as an employee of Elliott's, I interact with him daily, and I can tell you that he really lives out the things that he said in our interview. He really does care for his employees. He really does practice a lot of positive affirmation. He just does a great job as a manager in so many different aspects, including human resource management. Thank you for your time.